Hi everyone, it's Eva Pietrzak here from Abundant Results Coaching, and today I want to talk to you about my favorite trick to shift your emotional state when selling. Have you ever had that situation that maybe you had a string of people not showing up for sales calls, or maybe you were attracting just not the right prospect for you? People who were not committed, they were not closing, they were not willing to invest in themselves, and they would give you tons of reasons why they cannot purchase your service or your product. Well, we've all been there and done that. And what typically happens to us, we are losing it emotionally. After maybe several no-shows or several people that are showing up on the call but are not the right prospects, we tend to feel off. And when we do tend to feel off, then what happens is the next calls that we might have lined up are either being wiped out of our diary as well, or maybe people are just not the right prospects again. Typically, when we are in negative, non-productive emotional state, it's nearly like we are repelling customers, we are repelling ideas, and we are repelling money. So what do we do with this? And I'm pretty sure you've had that situation probably multiple times. If you're an entrepreneur, it's guaranteed. So how do we switch this? Well, over the years working with Bob Proctor, I've realized that frequently when we have a challenge, we have no control over the challenge. It is what it is, right? Things happen. But we have control over what we make the challenge mean. What is our perception? What are we going to be thinking about the challenge that is in front of us? And we can be thinking disempowering thoughts that make us feel off and repel customers and repel money, or we can be thinking empowering thoughts that will give us energy, that will help us jump through the hoops, and that they will help us literally turn things around during our business day. So I want to share with you that tip because it helped me tremendously. And I mean, ever since I've learned this, there were many situations where maybe there were several no-shows or maybe several customers, prospects that were not the right fit. And then once I shifted my emotional state, things would look up and change. People would start showing up on calls, or people who came on calls were the right fit. Now, what do we do? So in the moment when you notice you have a pattern of maybe people not showing up on calls or not the right prospect showing up on your calls, you need to sit down and stop and ask yourself, how do you feel? How are you feeling in the moment? And if you're feeling off, and it's pretty guaranteed that you will after a lineup of, mishaps, then you've got to ask yourself another question. What am I thinking? Because what you're thinking about what just happened or what's about to happen is going to influence your feelings. And then we want to change what you're thinking so that your emotional state changes. But I prefer to do all of this on paper. So what I would do, if I notice there's something happening and there's maybe repetitive situations that I don't like, I pull out a piece of blank paper, and I write out, what am I thinking right now? So maybe you would have thoughts like, oh my God, people are not showing up on the calls. What if nobody shows up on calls this week and I'm gonna make no money? My business is gonna go down the drain. Oh my God, all that stuff. You flesh that all out on paper and you look at it and you ask yourself, is this what I want? Is this what I want? Is this type of thinking going to give me the results I want? Pretty much most of the time, it won't. So then what you want to do, what you have on your paper is what we call perception. It's your point of view. Situation is the way it is. So, maybe 3 people didn't show up on calls, but your meaning that you're adding to it, what you're thinking about it, is controlling your emotional state. And your emotional state is repelling next prospects and next sales. Even if you attract them, you won't sell because you're feeling off, and you won't be fully focused on them and helping them. You're just going to be in your head. So how do we change it? Well, we look at that piece of paper, we ask ourselves, is this kind of thinking helping me? Is it going to help me sign up some customers today or receive some customers today? And if the answer is no, simply tear it apart, throw it out into the bin. You can even burn it. And what you're doing is the symbolic destruction of this type of thinking. You are no longer going to think this way. And then what you want to do, you want to pull another piece of paper and you want to ask yourself, what's the most empowering meaning or what's the most empowering thinking I could have in the face of this situation? So maybe you could say something like, okay, 3 people didn't show up on the call. Maybe they had a good reason why they didn't show up on the call. But once I'm feeling good and I'm feeling empowered, maybe the next people are going to show up. Maybe even 1 person will show up and I'm going to have a new client. And then you can keep writing whatever positive or empowering thinking comes to you around this situation, and as empowering as possible. Okay, so frequently you're not controlling the situation that is charging you with negative emotions, but you can control what you're going to think about this situation. And when you write something more empowering version of your thinking or meaning that you add to the situation you've just encountered, then you take that sheet of paper and you repeat it maybe several times until you feel like your emotional state is shifting. And once your emotional state is shifting, then you can go on next calls or maybe scheduling another calls or just go about your day. Because I promise you, I mean, one of the universal laws, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I work with Bob Proctor, and Bob is big into universal laws. So there is laws in universe like law of attraction and multiple others that govern money and govern what we attract. And one of them is actually the most important law is vibration, law of vibration. What it means is the vibration you're in is what you're going to attract. And we can have positive or negative vibration. So whenever we feel off for more than apparently 67 seconds, more than 1 minute, then we're already attracting things that we don't like. And, we could rationally explain this as well, or logically, that when you're on the call in negative mood, you're not really fully of service to your prospects and you're not focusing on them, you're more focusing on you, and you typically don't close the sale. Anyway, I hope you like the idea. It has been tremendous support for me because I know that if I am in negative emotional state, it's nearly guaranteed that I'm not going to have good results, not going to have good ideas, and my day is just going to go sideways. So I've learned to take charge and take control over my thinking that is governing my emotional state, because it's what you think that is controlling what you feel and then how you're going to act. So if you think about it, when you're thinking empowering thoughts, you're feeling good, you're feeling encouraged, you're going to take actions, you may generate more sales calls or more prospects. If you're feeling off because maybe those 3 prospects didn't show up, you're going to be feeling discouraged, you're going to be feeling like, what's the point? And nearly most of the time you will not take productive actions in that moment. So shifting your emotional state is a game changer in your business. And I know myself that when I worked in corporate world, it didn't matter how I felt, I would still get paid. But ever since I moved into being my own boss, I know that I need to be in control of my emotions. If I'm not, then I'm just being like a feather on, just whatever. It's good day and I'm selling, and it's bad day and I'm not selling. You can be in control of you, and you can skyrocket your sales and your income with that simple adjustment. So I hope you enjoy it. If you do, make sure you implement it every day and see how your sales and your income goes up. Have a wonderful week, and wishing you lots of new customers and new clients. Take care.